Hey, hello my friends. This is Sylvie Curry, Lady of Q. And I'm in my kitchen today. And this is actually New Year's Eve. And of course you know what happens with food in my house on New Year's Eve. We're going to make some soul food treats. And these are going to be some pieces of the hog that actually don't usually get eaten by most people. I've got some pig ears. I had these in the freezer, so they're frozen. And I'll take them out and we're going to clean all this in a little bit also. My plan is to cook the pig ears separately, and I'm going to do those in the pressure cooker. The first thing that you have to do when you get these meats is that you have to actually look at them, especially pig ears and the feet, to make sure that they're clean, because often stuff gets left in there like debris such as this. Sometimes you'll see hair. Sometimes there's also just dirt that's left in there. So you have to make sure that you go through and clean all that out. So it's good to have handy a brush so that you can get in there and scrape it out. And sometimes if I see a lot of hair, I'll take a razor blade and actually shave the skin. After cleaning these, I'm going to leave them in some cold water and let them soak, thereby getting any blood or anything that may still be in there to dissolve so that I can wash that away. My pig ears were washed, cleaned, and soaked, and I took the liberty of cutting off the part of the pig's ear that attaches like so that I have this big, really cartilaginous, and has some little bit meat in there piece separate from the actual ear, and I'm going to cook them separate. So I have just the lobes that I'm going to be cooking for now. I've got 6 lobes. Then I've got my other pieces, and I think I'm going to cook these with the pork hocks. In a previous cook of my pork products, pig feet, pig ears, ham hocks, I took the juice and I strained it and I froze it, because that can be used for ramen or good broth. So I'm going to use this to cook my pig ears in. And so that I add the flavors that I previously had in there with those porky flavors, in addition to the flavors that I'm going to put in. I've got a pot of water that I'm going to first blanch or cook the pig ears in just to get off the scum. Then I'll rinse it, and then I'll finish the cooking in the pressure cooker. So I'm just going to add these to my water, including the part of the lobe that I cut off. I've got my pork broth going. And now I'm going to add the pig ears here to the pressure cooker. They finished doing their little blanching or parboil. And because of the cartilage that's in pig ears, it takes a while for them to cook through. I'm going to add my veggies, which includes the jalapeno, some celery. I've got about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. I've got a whole onion and a couple of bay leaves that are going in there. And the broth itself does have a little seasoning in it, so I'm going to start out with only adding about a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to set it on pressure cook. And high, and time-wise, I think I'm going to go for, let's start with about 40 minutes. And we'll come back and see how they are in about 40 minutes. The pig ears are definitely done and they're looking good. Very tender. So make some nice little sandwiches, little sliders. The only thing left to do now is to taste for seasonings. Let's see what we got. Super, super hot. I just took it off a pressure cook. Maybe a little bit more salt, and we're good to go. These are great. You can eat them alone. Put them, as I said, in some bread as a slider with maybe some mustard or your favorite other type of hot sauce. And you've got a good treat. Some of that cartilage in there may not be totally soft, but it all makes for good eats. Well, this is going to be my meal today. I've got a pig ear. These I cooked in the pressure cooker, and I'm just going to make a plain and simple pig ear sandwich. What does that mean? I'm going to take this pig ear, I'm going to slap it between 2 slices of bread that have been lightly toasted, and I'm going to add maybe I'll add some mustard to it or some hot sauce. I decided to go with the mustard. And there you have it. Pig ear sandwich. Special.